The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
Hey, this is Rev from the Drowns, and if you still believe in rock and roll, then keep the dial set here at the Struggling Artist Podcast.
You're listening to the Struggling Artist Podcast.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
With your host, Trev Allen.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
Struggling Artist Record Club recap for May, featuring the band Incendiary Device from New York. Before we start, Ryan, what music or concerts are you excited about right now?
Well, last weekend I went to see Raging Nathans, one of the bands that I just learned about within the last couple of years that I started enjoying. The show was great. Their show was great. Unfortunately, it was a weird situation. Urethane, another band that I know you're familiar with, is a local band, and they played before them. And after they played, the place basically cleared out. So, unfortunately, not a lot of people stayed to see Raging Nathans, which, they're lost, really. I just moved right up in front and enjoyed the entire show.
I absolutely love the Raging Nathans. Huge, huge fan. One of my favorite bands right now. So it just blows my mind that people would leave for that. Again, they're lost. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, they really should have had the local band go last, and if that kind of thing's going to happen. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, I enjoyed the show, and I guess that's all I really care about. If you're going to leave in the middle of a show,
right?
Yeah. What about you?
All right, so on Monday, I'm off work for Larry and the Flask. Are you familiar with them?
I'm familiar with the name. I'm not familiar with their music.
Well, so they haven't been active much. They went and formed
that's why.
Beyond the Lamplight. Yeah, Beyond the Lamplight is their current band, but they're getting back together. So this is their first show in 8 years on the East Coast, and they'll be playing the album All That We Know in its entirety. So the first time I saw Larry and his Flask was September 24th, 2011. And you might be like, oh, how do you know that exact date? Because I actually have a poster right above my monitors because I went there specifically for Ride Fest Philly for a band called Plow United. They were reuniting just for that concert. So obviously I got the poster, and I'll be talking about Plow United later in this podcast. But for Larry and his Flask, people are not familiar with them. They just have the most energy. Like, I don't think their drummer sat down once. They got like the stand-up bass. They got all these different instruments. I think you would like it a lot because it's very folk punk.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really excited for that. My friend's wife is coming down from, where does he live? New England area. He's coming down just for that show. So he's a huge Larry and the Flask fan. So. The only problem is, so it's at the City Winery in Philly where I saw Chuck Reagan this past year or last year. and with the winery, you have like a waitress, and you have to spend like X amount of money. You have to order different stuff, and like the tables don't even face the stage, so you have to like move your chair. So I don't know, it's not a very good venue, but yeah, I'm excited about that. And then I got what else? I got the new Sublime picture disc is landing tomorrow. I don't know, I've always liked Sublime; they're pretty cool, so I'm excited about that. And then albums I already got recently, the new Co-Defendants. I like that a lot. I've been listening to that a lot. Sparta, Flatliners, I'm the Avalanche. So I got the new Real Mackenzies on picture disc yesterday. That's really cool.
I saw that. I saw you posted that on Instagram.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that a lot. It's such a cool album. Such a great band. They've been around since 1992.
Oh, jeez.
I love that. I love that style of music. And one of my guilty pleasures is Modest Mouse. I've always liked them. So I got their new album. So I've been listening to that a ton, and I've been listening to all the old Modest Mouse. Like I said, one of the few bands that I like that are not punk rock. And then Big D and the Kids Table, their new album is coming out Friday. I haven't got tracking yet on the album. I pre-ordered it months and months ago, so I'm hoping it's in transit or shipping soon. So I've always been a big fan of Big D and the Kids Table. So yeah, always a lot of stuff going on.
I saw Big D and the Kids Table probably about a year and a half or two now.
Oh, wow.
Back, and yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed it. That was when I saw the Kilograms.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a fun show.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read. We got this Bill. So he says, "God damn it, Trev, stop reading my mind. You'll get lost and get the heebie-jeebies. I already digress. I noticed the recap usually starts with what the hosts are looking forward to. Since it seems territorial, I thought giving a more mid-Atlantic call-out would be okay. If you follow Nervous Breakdown, I've been following him, and his local venue is closing, so we're sorry about that. And we're reeling from the closure of Dante's, the birthplace of savage mountain punk arts, and home base of many local acts. Many people attended the last show. 3 local bands, Peep Show, The Power, and Be Safe, opened for the Giraffes, a hard rock band with a cult-like following out of Brooklyn. It was a packed night, and when the last call was rung, many were teary-eyed, myself and my wife included. Dante's was family, and now that family is gone. Again, very sorry about that. The Giraffes told me that they are recording feverishly before Aaron Lazar leaves for Italy. Damien Paris, lethal guitarist, and Hannah Moorhead, master bassist, both have one-side solo projects in the works. The Downstrokes are looking to do a live album and re-recording one of their older releases as the masters were deleted by an asshole. Rebelmatic has a new album coming out. If Black Hole Eats Tornado from last year was any indication, it cannot be missed. A side note, I love Rebelmatic, and the new album is amazing. Amazing band. I've also procured tickets to Reverend Horton Heat Messer Chups at both Morgantown, West Virginia, and Hagerstown, Maryland. Coming in August is the SMPA Punk Fest featuring Blitzkid, The Effigies, Agent Orange, Crypt Keeper 5, among many others, a 3-day weekend. Side note, I've always wanted to see Crypt Keeper 5. Hoping to get local shows at Waynesboro, PA, and Martinborough, VW, if gas doesn't get too prohibitive. Currently, there are no permanent places for nearby shows. We have to travel at least 1 hour, which isn't too bad, but doesn't feel as local. All right, well, we thank you as always for your reviews and insights to the album. What do we got next? Ryan, you want to read the readout?
I will take the readout. Okay. Friends, Incendiary Device, abbreviated ID, is a New York hardcore punk band that pays homage to the genesis of hardcore late 70s, early 80s, and blend that sound with modern, ferocious music. New York, I think he says album title, but I think the title is actually New York City, was released by Creep Records out of Philadelphia. And if you ask Dave from the Record Club recap, this label doesn't put out duds. I wholeheartedly agree. That's Trev there. And Generation Records out of New York City. New York was released on Cherry Red and Laguna Blue, with Laguna Blue being a Generation Records exclusive. I believe we all got the Laguna Blue as well. Enjoy it, Trev. I got the Laguna Blue.
Yeah, that's what I got.
I'm assuming you did too. Okay. Well, I'm going to start off with my review. And I have to say, Trev finally got me with the hardcore, and not in a good way. I did not feel any connection with this album at all when I first played it. And to me, that's honestly okay. I don't expect to like every album that Trev sends me as part of the record club. And this was one of them. On the flip side, I also expect that at least 3 to 6, little variation in there, at least 3 to 6 records per year will really resonate with me. Unseemlier certainly did. Last month, Scarborough certainly did. And so I expect some variation, and I'm not upset by that. I like it. I think that's part of the variety is what makes Record Club a great experience. But since we took over the record review podcast, this is the first record I kind of felt I might struggle with reviewing because of the way I felt initially. And that's a big thing right now. First time I listened to the record with the lyric sheet in front of me, I did like the way the record was mixed because it allowed the vocals to be heard clearly so you could follow along with the lyrics, and it wasn't mixed under the guitars or anything. So, you could hear it and follow along. Yeah, like I just literally said. But because it didn't connect with me, I only listened to the record twice, and then I wanted. In the past couple of episodes, I did a little bit of research. Started with 18 Fevers because foreign band, didn't know anything about them, wanted to learn a little bit more, and then Scarborough got me a little bit with some of the lyrics. I wanted to dig deeper, and so I took the same approach with this, even though initially on the first 2 listings it didn't capture me. I have to say that after looking it up and digging deeper, I'm a little bit disappointed that I took my record player and stereo part and packed up because I'm going to be moving in a few months, or next week, really. So I can't. I do have another record player that I might throw it on and listen to it again, because I'll have a different. I'll be listening to it from a different approach, taking a different approach to it. Yeah. So I did run to Google for help. And I found a website where the band actually talked about their record, and they did a song breakdown, kind of like I do, but from the band's perspective on what the songs meant to them. And after going through that, I want to listen to the record again. So I think that's a good thing. And, I'm just going to throw out the website because I like the idea of the website. They didn't have any ads on their site at all. They accept Patreon and other similar payment type things for supporters. The website is Idiotech, but it looks like Idiot EQ. So IDIOTEQ.com. And if you go there, they have all kinds of independent reviews and stuff like that. Looks like a great site. I would recommend it just to find music that's coming out or see what's going on around you and things like that if they have stuff that's near you. So I can't just regurgitate what I found and claim it as my review. So I kind of took what they put and took what I got from reading the lyrics and kind of made it my own. And so it's just brief, couple sentence or two about each song, what I got out of it. Track 1 is called New York City, and As it turns out, it's the band's love song to their hometown while reminding listeners of the dangers that lurk in the Big Apple. Kind of my brief summary. Song number 2, Aggression. I completely missed the references in the lyrics to, quote, concrete obsession, which related to skateboarding. That was on me. If you read the lyrics closer, it should be kind of obvious, and I missed it. Track 3, If the Time Is Right. I guess this song was originally written in the 80s for the singer's previous band called The High and the Mighty. They mentioned it's one of their favorite songs to play live. Didn't strike a chord with me on the record, but I can see it making a pit go crazy. So I think a lot of these songs didn't really resonate with me on the first couple listens, but I think seeing them live would have an entirely different feel to it. So yeah, I definitely want to listen to this record again. Track 4, Young at Heart, another song where I completely missed the meaning. As the title clearly states, it's about staying young at heart while getting older. Got to remember to find the passion from your youth that shaped you, and that helps keep you young. Thrown to the Wolves, track 5. The band stated this was motivated by the adage, don't meet your heroes. One line that I really liked is, with every crown comes a guillotine. Track 6, Reprisal. It was getting late last night when I was working on this, so I'm just going to quote the band on this one. Lyrically, the song addresses the pitfalls of social media and the modern digital age. Violent Majority. This is a quick song, and it played with the perception that the world is full of violence. Track 8, the final track. This one, I got mostly right based on the lyrics. Like politics, it'll tear us apart. It's being quite clear. It's a song about the divisiveness in the country right now based on political beliefs driving people apart. While I understand this point of view, I'm not quite so understanding while we have one political party going after marginalized groups of people while their own corruption goes unchecked. I've got a bottle of bubbly chilling in my fridge while waiting for cholesterol to finally do its job. And if you wear a red hat, fuck off, as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, so I understand where they're coming from, but I'm not ready to get full unity again. It's going to take a bit. So overall, for me, I didn't feel like I gave this record a chance on the first couple of listens. Looking for more information, like I said, about the band gave me some insights that I did not expect. I don't think I'm going to wear this record out listening to it, but when I give it another listen, I'll have deeper understanding of it. I want to spend this much time with every record I pick up to really get to know the music better. So I think these last 3 months of doing that, even though this record I didn't listen to as many as the previous two, I think I got a lot more out of it just by taking an extra 30 minutes to an hour and just Googling and reading what they think and getting more insight. So I really liked that I did that those 3 times, and I want to keep doing that. Even with records that aren't from the club, it just got me deeper into the music. So I'd recommend it for anyone.
I find the same thing, like the digging into it and just learning as much as you can, and really ends up being enjoyable.
Yeah.
And then when you listen to the songs, they mean more to you and you understand them more and just more background.
Yeah. So what did you think about this record, Dave?
Well, I actually found the same website and did the same breakdown. So when I get to that, when I get to that part of my review, obviously I'm not going to read everything I wrote because I'd be just doing the exact same thing you just did. But I'll pick and choose a few of the songs.
Sounds good.
But luckily, I have a bunch of other stuff to discuss as well. So let's see, where do we got here? Okay, every genre of music has its own way of viewing live performances. For metal, it's headbanging. mosh pits, and sometimes the wall of death. For punk rock, it's pogoing, circle pits, slam dancing, moshing, and stage diving. Ska has skanking. Electronic music has people throwing their hands in the air and jumping up and down and doing a thing called shuffling. The internet says shuffling involves a fast paced, heel to toe motion that creates the illusion of gliding across the floor. Again, that's what the internet says. Rap has people smoking weed, putting their hands in the air, moshing, stage diving, and doing street dances like the crip walk, getting sturdy, the Dougie, and crumpling. Again, what the internet told me. Emo has the push pit, which is the standard rock pit where fans shove and bounce off one another playfully instead of throwing punches. Country has line dancing and the Texas two-step. For hardcore, I'm going to go more into depth since that's the style of music we're reviewing. In 1997, I graduated high school and went to Penn State's remote campus in Delaware County. I was mostly into skate punk and street punk. My backpack had patches for Blank 77, The Boyles, Violent Society, and Against All Authority. But nobody around me really listened to that kind of music, so I ended up becoming friends with the hardcore kids. The one great thing about punk and hardcore back then was if you advertised it via patches on your book bag or t-shirts, you would instantly find others who liked that style of music and you would become best friends with them. Is that still how it works these days for teenagers? I have no clue. Hopefully it is, because it's really a beautiful thing. So 6 months later, I ended up moving in with a guitar player for a band called 1 Year Lost. Again, because I had those patches and shirts, all the people that listen to that type of music ended up hanging out together at Penn State. He had an apartment and he was paying a lot. I was like, I'm trying to get out of my parents' house. I'll split the rent with you. So anyway, I also became friends with a kid named Kevin Arnett. He always wore Sick of It All and Snapcase shirts. And it turned out he lived about 7 minutes from my parents' house. But because of school district lines, he went to a different school. Kevin got me into all the classic hardcore bands like Chain of Strength, Gorilla Biscuits, and of course the bands on his shirts that he seemed to always wear, Sick of It All and Snapcase. Kevin was one of the best hardcore dancers in Philly. He practiced every day at home. His specialty was doing a handstand in the middle of the pit. Just take a second to let that sink in. A handstand in the middle of a crazy pit. He was also great at windmills and high kicks. I'd never seen dancing like that before, so I was always entertained watching him at shows. There was a crew in Philly at the time called the I Hate You crew, and they wanted control of the pit. They did not like Kevin showing up and out dancing them. They always carried knives, and if they didn't have a knife, they would break a bottle and use the glass as weapons. Luckily, somehow, Kevin never got injured. Out of all the styles of music, hardcore has the most crowd participation and dancing. A true hardcore show has no barriers and no bouncers. People are stage diving the entire time. The singer is constantly asking the crowd to sing parts of the songs. Hardcore shows are less about the music itself and more about people dancing and going apeshit and vibing off the energy. I went to see Hot Water Music in Bane in the spring, and I warned my wife. I told her, I love Bane and I have all their albums, but they are true hardcore freaks, so the music will come second to the crowd vibe. I told her she was not going to enjoy it. It just doesn't always sound good live because they're constantly asking the crowd to sing parts, since that is what hardcore is about. It's about connecting with the crowd. When you're actually up front, a few feet from the band, it truly is one of the greatest experiences in life. This band called Avail from Richmond is one of my favorite bands of all time. They played melodic hardcore punk, so it's not hardcore punk like Bane or ID, but I used to say that seeing them live and seeing them in that pit with all the energy and dancing is one of the best things life has to offer. There simply is no other genre like hardcore when it comes to live music. It is the best. That's how I became a fan of my friend Kevin's hardcore bands, Sick of It All and Snapcase. Snapcase was the toughest because they were so heavy, while Sick of It All was the easiest because they were so insanely catchy. I think this month's record, Incendiary Device, reminds me of Sick of It All because it's just so damn catchy and fun to listen to. I'm still into hardcore. So far in 2026, I got the new Terror album, Bird Legs, Western Addiction, Good Riddance, and Converge. In December, I also got the Civ Set Your Goals repress. My friend Kevin was a huge Civ fan. Sadly, I no longer talk to him. He faded out of the scene, while I never can because I love the music too much. This week, while listening to a podcast with Davey Havoc from AFI, I learned that hardcore karate moves were invented by a guy from the band Marauder in the mid-90s. He came up with them because he was trying to stay safe in the pit from skinheads. Then Earth Crisis adopted those moves and taught people them while they were on tour. I'm sure you're thinking, just start the review already, man. We don't care about dancing styles, genres, and your old friends. Fine. It's pretty simple, really. Do you like hardcore? If so, you'll love this album. Review done.
Dave, this is a record recap show. Maybe add a little more, you moron.
All right. Fine, Ryan. You convinced me. Again, unfortunately, me and Ryan both found the same website. And I'm not going to do the exact same thing he just did, but I'll pick a few out. So the album opens up with the song New York City, which is an appropriate song to open up since the album is called New York City. This song is about New York City following the pandemic and how they had to deal with rising crime rates, police brutality, gentrification, open drug use on the streets, and housing crisis, to name a few. So the song is about how, despite all these problems, the band will never give up on the city they love. I respect that vibe. Instead of just moving someplace else, they are dedicated to fixing their home. Sample lyric, New York City, we rise above, never give up on the city we love. The next song is called Aggression. This song is about how the lead singer Drew Stone has been a lifelong skateboarder and fan of punk and hardcore music, and how they are therapeutic when dealing with life. I myself use biking instead of skateboarding because I always get injured when skateboarding. And like Drew, I use going to punk rock and hardcore shows as therapy as well. It's all about finding a positive release, and skateboarding and biking and going to shows is a great way to release pent-up anger and rage. Young at Heart, this is my favorite song. It's just so damn catchy. It's built around a Jay Adams, who's a famous skateboarder, quote, "You don't stop skateboarding because you get old. You get old because you stop skateboarding." So this song is about how the body ages and gets old, but music keeps us young, and how music is ageless and timeless. It's also a song to the youth to carry the torch of hardcore music and keeping it alive forever. Bobby Hamble of Biohazard joined on this one, providing a blistering guitar solo. I actually saw Biohazard live last month. It was awesome. Tons of energy. If you ever get a chance, go see them. Let's see what else we got here, since Ryan did a bunch of these. We'll go with the last one, Politics. Disdain for how politics has become the great divider amongst friends, families. We've lost touch with seeing the good in all people, rather defining them as friend or foe based on their political voting. So Eugene Hutz of Gogol Bordella does some vocals for this one. He's been a long proponent and supporter of ID over the years, and they had a lot of fun working with him. On a side note, the new Gogol Bordella album is awesome. I have it on vinyl, and everyone should listen to it and try to buy it on vinyl as well. So Trev mentioned Creep Records in the recap since the album was released by them, as well as a few other labels, so I'm going to discuss them next. In the East Coast back in the 90s, it was Boston and New York that everyone talked about, but an hour outside of Philly was an amazing scene located in Westchester, PA, and also Downingtown, PA, since that is where the Creep House was located. If you listen to Trev's interview with Creep Records last month, Eric Victor moved into a $300,000 house that was in the same neighborhood as my cousins. I've always wanted to know how he graduated from high school and then was able to move into a huge house and not exactly trash it, but young punks lived there. So it was all about partying, spray paint on the walls, and a recording studio. And they had live shows in the family room as well. So I've always been, curious how that happened. Out of high school, you usually don't move into a $300,000-$400,000 house in the same
Yeah,
neighborhood.
certainly not.
So it was the same neighborhood as my aunt and uncle. So every time I went over there, I'd always drive by. And like I said, I would go to see live shows there as well.
Oh, nice.
Westchester, PA was the main location for Creep Records, though. They had their record store there, and that's where most of the shows were at. The bands that came from that label remain today some of my all-time favorite bands. So like I said, in that 90s, you thought about Boston, you thought about New York, but really Westchester, PA had these amazing bands coming out, and 4 of them still are 4 of my favorite bands, and I still listen to them almost weekly. So Creep is remastering and re-releasing one of the greatest punk albums of all time. Yes, I said that, one of the greatest punk albums of all time, called Plow United, Goodnight Sellout. Bold statement, I know, but I've listened to this album so many times, and they're actually playing a sold-out show in Philly this September.
You going?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Nice.
So they'll be playing the entire Goodnight Sellout album, and they'll be playing a bunch of other songs, so I'm insanely excited for that. I just absolutely love Plow United still. So after Plow, we have the Boyles. The Boyles were touring machines. Every weekend for like a decade straight, they played a show on the East Coast. Nobody played more than the Boyles. They played fast street punk, and their last album is still one of my favorite punk albums of all time. So again, you got Plow United, Goodnight Sellout, one of my favorite punk albums. You got the Boyles, one of my favorite punk albums. And the next 2.5 Children. They were the punkiest of all the bands on Creep Records. Insanely talented, long songs that had like that kind of leftover crack kind of sound, but they're much better than that. Very underrated band. And lastly, the Orphans, who morphed into Mischief Brew. I'm sure everyone's heard of Mischief Brew, folk punk legends. Like I keep saying, these 4 bands I still listen to just about every week and will for the rest of my life. And all these bands really went on to release albums on huge, big punk labels, minus 2.5 Children, who just released on Creep Records. For a while now, Creep Records has remained a bit on the quiet side. They still have their 2 record stores that also sell smoking pipes, and they used to put on live shows, but they were not exactly releasing a lot of music. But once Will from ID became more and more friends with Eric, they decided to get back into releasing bands again and more frequently. So keep an eye on Creep Records. Go to their website once a month. They are definitely a label you want to buy from. Whatever they're releasing, I suggest you order. Also, Will from ID is in a ton of other bands. The other band that you would probably know the most, because they were part of the record store club, is Neck Scars. So lastly, I'd like to discuss the record cover and art. I'm at the point where if a band has a goofy band name or a goofy artwork or pictures of them smiling and acting stupid, I will pass on the record. I just like more serious, pissed off stuff. If you look at the back cover, it's a cover of all 4 of them just looking angry and jaded and pissed off. I don't know. I like that look versus people smiling and being all goofy.
Yeah.
They really nailed the artwork and vinyl color. Just, they have the color of the vinyl. We, as Ryan said, we got the blue, and then the album artwork is blue as well. Lately, whenever I order vinyl records, I seem to choose a color that best matches the album cover. And this one is absolutely perfect because the blue matches the album cover blue. And they did include lyrics, which is very important, as if you listen to the show, me and Ryan talk about it a lot. These lyrics are white on black. The font is a good size. Really perfect for the perfect lyrics. Just a note to all bands: please try to do exactly like ID has done with the lyrics. White on black, and the font, good font. Again, we are big on lyrics. And
I have one minor issue with the lyrics. They just weren't in order of songs.
oh yeah, that is. I've actually been noticing more bands doing that. I don't know if it's a thing.
Yeah.
Not in order.
Yeah.
I've seen them doing that.
I think it's a spacing issue and just a layout. Yeah. A very minor thing. I'm happy to have the lyrics. If I have to hunt, I'm fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Right. So, yeah. So that's our review, and see you
Well,
next
since you
month. I guess.
you brought up the album cover, and I've done photography in the past, and that's a good picture.
Yeah, I love
Just the
it.
way it's laid out.
The artwork,
The
the artwork,
bridge.
all that blue is
Yeah.
just. I love it. It's so.
Yeah.
It really works. They did a great job with that.
Yeah. And
Um,
after doing my research and after listening to your review, I'm looking forward to giving this record another spin.
Excellent. Yes, I enjoyed.
Even though I'm not
I would,
that into hardcore.
well, I would think Young and Heart is so catchy. It kind of has an H2O vibe. You might like that song the most.
Yeah, I do like H2O.
Yeah,
So
Young and Heart
I
reminded me of H2O a bit.
okay. I'll keep that in mind when I'm listening to it as well. So yeah.
So,
I'm looking forward to listening to this record a bit more and can't wait to see what we get next month.
sounds
Any
good.
final words?
No,
Just
we'll
okay.
chat again soon.
Sounds good. Keep
All right.
listening to records.
Sounds good. And thank you, Trev, as always. Let's not forget to thank Trev for doing all the hard work of sending out the records, doing all the interviews for the podcasts. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Trev does a lot behind the scenes. I mean, we were trying to set up this recording and it was a little crazy. And he's got it down. He's great. He's great to work with. So, yeah. Appreciate everything he does.
All right.
See you next month.
See you.